In this introduction video, we're going to look at the Ctrl Engine API. This API exposes all functionality of Ctrl Engine to be polled and triggered remotely. Use it to manage workspaces, trigger outputs, and more, without manually configuring input triggers. Manufacturers can implement the Ctrl Engine API to poll and trigger actions remotely from their product or service to harness the wide range of protocols and device modules already built into Ctrl Suite. The API schema and documentation can be found on the Ctrl Suite website, or directly within Ctrl Engine's web interface, where you can interact with it live and see responses in real time. To do this, we'll start by logging into Ctrl Engine. Here you can see I'm running a workspace already. If I select View, we can see its contents. I'll navigate to the Developer view. Here we can see the full API schema documented. You can export this to use offline on the top right of the screen. All endpoints are documented on the left-hand side of the page, showing every function available. Firstly, we'll navigate to the security page to get a public key. Next, we'll authorize a user under the Authentication tab. We'll enter the credentials of an account already created on the engine, then define the scope of what the user can do using the API. The Ctrl Suite API uses the industry standard OAuth 2 authentication method. It's worth noting that to be able to write to the API, the user must also be configured to read from it too. When the request is sent and authentication is successful, a token is returned alongside its expiry time. To refresh a token, use a token refresh endpoint. Once authenticated, copy the token, then navigate to any request option the account's authenticated to use. Here, we'll poll all actions within the active workspace. We'll copy the ID of one of the actions, then we'll use the trigger and action endpoint to remotely run it. To be able to output from Ctrl Engine, the system needs to be licensed. For testing purposes, you can navigate to the console view to see commands, or use our free starter tier license if you don't have a paid license on your machine already. Using this developer page, you should be able to copy the requests to your own application and start integrating Ctrl Engine into your product or projects. If you've got any questions, get in touch.